obviously right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face.
Oh, I'm from Brooklyn.
Hey, get any.
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's another episode of Coast to Coast. I am your host, Pags. I got Bo with me. We may have a Jason sighting later on today. And StatGuy is out this week. He's got lots of deadlines. He's got to write a lot of words down on pieces of paper. How are you, Bo?
Doing good. How was your weekend?
Not so bad. Just to get it all out. Obviously, the Phillies had a great weekend, and I think actually also so did the Mariners.
Yeah, the Mariners were doing work.
Yeah, they. It's funny because now I actually pay attention to them a little bit. So they did. They split yesterday's doubleheader, so they didn't go ahead and get a sweep, but they've been doing pretty well, at least against the teams they're supposed to beat.
Yes.
So they should absolutely have beaten that team.
So, sitting at 500, I don't hate it, right? I mean, it's early in the year, sitting at 500. That's not a terrible spot for the M's. We'll see.
Big week coming up for them.
Obviously,
they're going to get a good test against a team that's probably a little unhappy with their play. Right now, but they are only a half a game out of first place at this moment. So, and then of course they have the day off, relaxation for a second before they get this big series going. Early test, away. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how that all plays out. But
I want to see how they match up with the Rangers. The Rangers are the better team, obviously, but if we can be competitive in it, it says good things. Like if our bats can keep pace, I'll feel good. Even if we drop the series, 2 games to 1, but we were competitive in all 3 games, I can see that as a win for this Mariners team.
Well, I think it's your next 9 games, literally, because you have the Rangers, obviously, in Texas. Then you go up against, the NLCS champions of last year, the Arizona Diamondbacks, at home.
And the Braves.
And then the Braves, which are also, a perennial playoff team. So
to be fair, the Houston series directly after that isn't going to be a cakewalk either.
Correct, but you don't want to look 2 weeks away. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's the next 10 games. You have the next 10 games to worry about, and then you get, ultimately a day off, and then you're on the road for the Astros and really the Twins.
Yeah, the Twins are playing good.
Yeah, so, I mean, literally the next 2 weeks in general, 2.5, 3 weeks actually in general, it's going to really dictate where your team is going to be. So coming out of that gauntlet with like around the 500 record.
I was going to say, if we can still be 500, that would be amazing.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to see if that's really the case. But
I'm betting the under, but that's what you want to see out of that. Like you want to see at least 500 out of that. I don't know that they have a team built for that. But that being said, the Braves haven't played their best brand of baseball yet. They've had moments, but for the most part, they've kind of been underwhelming, especially based on the way we know they can play. The Rangers are a tough out no matter what. And, we'll see with the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks, tough to say which one shows up to town because they've played a little inconsistent so far.
Agreed. I would say that is, yep. So I
Look,
think Texas had a tough weekend as well. So you're getting them at a good time where I
maybe.
think that you could take advantage. You could take advantage.
Well, it's funny. It can go one of two ways, right? You can either take advantage of a team that's a little bit down, trying to figure it out, or you're going into a bee's nest because they are mad that they came up short.
Well, I mean, they did win. They did win last night, so it's not a matter of that. And they did go up against the Braves, which
Yep.
is, that's
Good.
part of it. Like, so it's like, okay, they took one, they took the last one. The Braves came up there and beat them up a little bit, but ultimately, it's, you know, I said to have them back to back is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So you're going to get, like I said, a Texas team that, just lost and coming back home from a road trip.
Yep.
And you guys are just going off on the road trip, sniffing yourselves a little bit because you guys just had a really good series.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, won 2 series in a row, which is awesome. Granted, neither team is a good team, but wins are wins.
You got to beat the bad teams. You have to beat the bad teams. That's the same way. Hey, listen, the last 2 series, had the Phillies lost a game, it could have been looked at as, bad, really bad.
Yeah. I mean, if you're losing to teams, you have to win, right?
Right.
The Sox, the Reds, the Rockies, the A's, like you have to win those games. If you're not winning those are immediately looked at as, oh, what's wrong with this team?
Right.
That's not they had an off night. That immediately goes to this team's in trouble.
A little bit. I don't say that. I mean, obviously, had the Phillies lost yesterday, after the first game, they went 6 1/3, no hit. The second game, they went 7 1/3, no hit.
Oof.
You know what I mean? I expected yesterday to be a no-hit game, and of course, they scored 2 runs in the first inning, which the Phillies came back and then scored 3, and that's that game kind of went that way and wound up winning 8-2. But ultimately, it's like I said, baseball is here now, and it's so better chance to win in Texas than in Seattle. Really? They're a better road team to start after they just swept a team?
Yeah, but again, they just swept the Reds. Like let's pump the brakes a little bit on how exciting that was. It's not like they
Well, yeah, but they won 5 of their last 6.
I mean, sweeps are hard, so I don't want to downplay it. I mean, even against bad teams, sweeping a team is a difficult thing to do. But you also did sweep,
I mean, the Reds aren't ridiculously bad.
No, they're not horrendous. They're not horrendous. I think their record is better than their team is, though.
Well, I mean, they're 12-9.
But going into that season or going into that series, they weren't. They were actually above 500 going into that series against the M's. So that's why I say I think their record was better than I think that team is. That team, I think, will probably be it'll finish the season a sub 500 team.
See, actually, some of the pundits actually have the Reds competing for that division title.
Really? Interesting.
So they do. So, and it's interesting because you guys, they went into that game 9-6.
Yes.
Went into that series 9-6. They wound up leaving at 500, and then they swept the Angels. So 7-1, 7-5, 3-0. So ultimately, and now they got the Phillies again, which is going to be interesting because we beat them 2 out of 3.
Maybe they're a little better team than I was giving them credit for then.
Yeah, I mean, so right now they are 12-9. Now, again, let's face it, 3 of those wins were against the White Sox. Actually, they beat us in that series. They won 2 games. They beat us.
That was 2 of their wins. Both
2 of their 2 of their wins was against us. So, but that so ultimately they're not a bad team. They're not a bad team, and they play ball. Like I said, they got some speed on that team.
Yeah.
So that's what helps them. They can play a little bit of small ball to be able to get runs across.
Yeah.
So
they can do that. They can do that.
So ultimately, it's we'll see. We'll see how the Phillies, after winning their last 6 games, in a row,
Mhm.
will wind up going up against them. I think it was 6 games, 7 games in a row, 6 games in a row. I think so. But neither here nor there. As of right now, Seattle is still trailing in the race to see who's the better team, the Phillies or the Mariners. So
But they're making it interesting.
at least in April. At least in April. And the Phillies are having their best April since 2012.
To be fair, 500 is a pretty solid Mariners April, because usually April is where they just are horrible. So if we can survive April at 500, that's a huge win in my mind.
Well, yes, I agree. So, because like I said, that's where we wanted the Phillies to be, kind of. That the Phillies, if they're at 500 after April, because usually they're below 500, but they normally start off against better teams. So, again, the fact that we are playing some crap teams, you know what I mean? Because the White Sox, let's face it, the White Sox are a double-A team. That's what they are right now. They are a double-A team.
I wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't?
No,
at 3-18.
There's double-A teams way better than that team.
Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, if a double-A team plays against Major League Baseball players, those double-A teams are going to lose
90% of the time. They
18 out of 20 games.
Exactly.
17 out of 20 games. That's
Exactly.
kind of what's going on. But
yeah, no, that's why I say 90% of the time. But they can get hot one time, get that win.
Robert, yeah, I know, trust me, but we started off against the Braves. We did play the Reds, and you could say that the Reds aren't a good team. They just didn't like playing in Seattle, but they do have a winning record. Yeah. So don't tell me, Robert. Again, we know how much you know about baseball, which is not much. So.
I see T-ballers. Nice. That's got to be the Sox.
Exactly. That being said, I mean, that was part of my weekend. Obviously, the Sixers had game 1 against the Knicks, and that game went kind of as I expected. However, Knicks fans are going way too nuts, and I think that's that. They won game 1. They won game 1, and they're saying, "Bring on Boston!" Like that was it. Like they don't have to play anymore against the Sixers.
They forget that the play-in's over.
Exactly. So it's like, we want Boston. All right, you guys want Boston? You better hope that you get past the Sixers, because it ain't done yet. I mean, this was game 1, and I'll say, truth of the matter is that obviously Embiid's health is going to be most prevalent. As Chris is saying that Maxi's not going to go today or whatever, I don't believe that's the case. I think that he'll wind up playing. They'll pump him full of fluids and stuff. And when you have the flu and you're playing, all of a sudden things, you get pumped full all those fluids, you wind up having the best game of your life. Just ask Michael Jordan or many of other people who have had the flu and have gone out there and just balled out like amazing. So I wouldn't be surprised to see all that. Obviously, Embiid with his knee having that, that dunk, which looked great, came down awkward and was shot all up. They shot him up. I know that, to get him back out there again for the second half. The problem was you could tell that he was on something. You know what I mean? Because he was off that bit. It was just like you could tell the things that normally fall for him weren't falling. And you could tell he was just a little off. And the Knicks came back and won that game. I mean, it went back and forth a little bit. I found that at the very end of the game, the Sixers did not have the best plan. Like they're running around chasing the Knicks when there was ample opportunity to foul with like 17 seconds left and play the foul game, and they didn't. And ultimately, they wound up, the Knicks wind up shooting the ball, getting the rebound. It's like, that's really. So. Wasn't the biggest deal in the world. You know what I mean? We lost game 1. I said this was going to be a very tough series. I said that the Knicks actually matched up better with the Sixers than I think even Boston matches up with the Sixers. So this is going to be a very, very tough series moving forward.
Well, and winning game one in a 7-game series doesn't feel like it carries as much weight as when it used to be the 5-game series.
Especially when you're the home team.
Exactly.
You have to win game one if you're the home team. If you lose game one, you're already in the back, on the back part. Losing game two doesn't even hurt as bad than losing game one.
Yes.
As being the home, be it at home. Yeah. So the Sixers absolutely need to win this game. But even if they don't win this game, they still only really need to win one over there. We need to hold serve.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a tough game. This isn't going to be simple in any stretch of the imagination.
I just love that Knicks fans are already on the Boston train, because it's like, you guys realize you're the Knicks, right? Like, I wouldn't say I won until there's triple zeros on the clock, because we've seen the Knicks.
Well, not only that, but Boston's 2 series from now.
Yeah.
They got to finish this one.
True.
And then they got to get past either the Bucks or Indiana, and then they get Boston.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the the equivalent of you won game one and you're already doing this stuff. You're just like,
exactly,
pump the brakes a little bit. You guys haven't won shit. Like, it's game one of the first round. Like, calm down.
That is exactly correct. So ultimately, I think that this is going to be a little bit of a different game. I think that, we learned right away that the Knicks were able to play pretty good defense. At one point they held the Sixers to 12 points in the second quarter. You know what I mean? So that's going to, that itself, Sixers were up by 9 at the end of the first quarter and then down by, I think, 12 at the end of the second quarter because of the way that it, just wind up playing out. It was 58. Yeah, 58-36. So, or 46. So they were down by 12 points and as many as like 15, I believe, throughout the game. But we're able to come back, able to kind of take the lead in the third quarter, wound up losing it in the fourth quarter. What was that? What was these 3 points? 3-pointers from, they were shooting at 45%.
Yeah, you're going to lose that game most of the time. If the other team is knocking down threes at that kind of clip, the odds aren't high you can match.
You're going to, they had 16 to our 12. They both shot the same amount. Typically they are going to be hitting somewhere around 35%, which is what the Sixers hit.
Yep.
The Sixers hit at 35%. I am expecting it to be, this is going to be a real close game. This is going to be a real close series. This is not, do I think the Sixers are going to win this game? I want the Sixers to win this game, but I don't think it's going to be, I can't guarantee a win.
Yeah.
So, and of course, if it's true and, that Maxi's not playing, that means somebody else has got to be able to step up here in a big, big way. And I'm not sure who that person is. Is that going to be Kyle Lowry? Is that going to be, Batum, who's actually playing a lot better now? I can't say any of that. So, but here's the biggest stat in that Sixers game that is way too much and absolutely has to come down. Rebounds in general, they were out-rebounded by 22 rebounds. The Knicks had 55 rebounds to 33. Yeah. But worse, where most of this game,
offensive boards,
23-9. 23-9. That you can't have. You cannot have second chance shots by so much. Like they shot the ball 10 more times than the Sixers did. And ultimately, out of those 10 times, they only wound up winning by 7. So realistically, they missed some free throws. So realistically, they made 4 more shots than the Sixers did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it.
You can't lose the offensive boards. It's one of the things that's so frustrating about the NBA today, right? when you think about it, when you're growing up watching 80s and 90s, like there was an emphasis to get offensive boards. Like they're huge, right? Because second chance points matter.
Right.
But now that everybody throws from behind the arc, offensive boards are a lost art.
Yes. And what kills me is the tap ups. Everybody's under the basket. They tapped it back up. Oh, it didn't go in. They tapped it back up. It didn't go in. They tapped it back up. There were two of those where it was like 2 or 3 tap backups. That's a rebound and a shot. A rebound and a shot. That's what comes of those. Those are the killers.
Yeah.
That's 2 times I noticed it because I only watched, I was trying to leave early the Phillies game.
Okay.
They were up 9-0, but there was a no-hitter going. So I can't leave a no-hitter.
No.
The first time it's like 6 in the third innings. Second time, 7 in the third innings. 7 in the third inning, and then they let up the hit. The moment he let up the hit, they pulled him, and that's when they started to score some runs. That's the only time they really scored runs. But the Phillies had gone like 31 innings without letting up an earned run.
That's amazing.
So now, again, this is against the White Sox, so I can't really guarantee. And the White Sox have gone every series so far this year. They have been shut out at least once.
Oof. Wow. Yeah, I hadn't looked at that. That's rough. That's rough.
Yes.
That really is a bad team.
So I got to imagine that they have to do something in Chicago. Something has got to give. Okay, let's send half of our team down and bring up some AAA guys, and maybe just somebody can get hot or whatever. I don't know.
It can't be worse.
That's exactly it. You're 3-18.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're almost mathematically done for the year.
Almost. But we will see. We will see as that goes forward. And obviously, the rest of the NBA going on. The Celtics took game 1. Of course, that was Jimmy Butler less. The Clippers wind up winning game 1 of their series against the Dallas Mavericks. The Bucks figured out how to play basketball again and beat the Pacers. And then this was a surprise to me, as close as this game was. The Thunder just squeaked out over the Pelicans, 94-92. So that was a big surprise. I thought that would be a blowout to the nth degree. And then, of course, in the rest of the series, the Cavaliers beat the Magic. The Timberwolves smoked Phoenix. I thought Phoenix would give a much better game than that.
Oh, no, they were getting crushed the whole game.
Yeah, that's what are some of the numbers from that made that occur like that? 50% from the field. They went to only 37%, which is about good for 3-pointers. But again, rebounds, not really offenses. There's only 13 offensive rebounds to 3 offensive rebounds, but 52-28.
Yeah, well,
that's
what's so frustrating is you have guys like Durant, like you got tall dudes. Why are we not getting offensive boards? Like, how come none of these big guys, if they don't have the ball in their hand, why are they not crashing the boards? Like, what are we doing? Give your team a chance to win, especially in a scenario where you are getting smoked.
Yeah.
Like, I actually ended up turning that game off because I was just like, okay, this is not worth the watch.
Right. And then the Nuggets beating the Lakers. The Lakers made that a little bit of a game, but that wasn't really much of a game at all.
Yeah.
Well, he was already questionable, so he was upgraded to questionable from doubtful. So, and yeah, the Mets playing played too well a little early. Is just that's okay. I'm not really worried about the Mets. Are the Mets, and they'll Mets it up.
Yep.
No, the Celtics, that without Butler, the Heat don't have a chance. And I love that coach. I think they got a great coach over there, but they just don't have enough firepower to be able to compete against the Celtics without Butler in.
I would say every game is going to be very similar to this. Is they're just going to get beat down.
Right. And what was that? 114-94, they lost by 20 points.
Exactly.
I don't think that's I just don't see the the Celtics even having a hiccup. You know what I mean? You need Jimmy Butler in there by game 4 if you're going to have any type of shot whatsoever. Realistically, he needs to be in the next game, and he's going to be out. I can't imagine he's going to be able to play at all.
No, this Heat team won't be able to come back from 0-2 like that. They were going to need everybody firing on all cylinders to keep pace anyway, to make that a good series. Not having Butler in there, like they're going to get ran the whole time.
Right. The good thing is that they do have a couple of days off. It's interesting how it's 2 days off Celtics, 2 days off Celtics. So they actually have it set up so that the next time they're going to be playing, when they play in Miami, is literally a week from Saturday. This past Saturday. It's the 27th.
That's helpful.
Yeah, that's what makes it a big difference. You know what I mean? Because then they're going to play Saturday and then, or is it Friday and Sunday? April 27th is what? No, it's Saturday and Monday.
Yeah.
That's Saturday and Monday. So they are really going to be able to maybe get him back. Yeah, like I said, even at 70%, you need him back to be able to.
Yeah, he's got to be on the floor.
So, the NHL playoffs started as well.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, it kind of went as I expected. First couple games, Carolina beat the Islanders. The Bruins beat the Maple Leafs. It was 3-1 for the Carolina versus the Islanders, 5-1 versus the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs stink in the playoffs. They just lose. That's what they do.
Yep.
Great series, the Panthers versus the Lightning. That Florida series is going to be a great series to watch for hockey in general. The Rangers beat the Capitals. That was, expected. In football, the Winnipeg Jets, had kicked the extra point against the Colorado Avalanche and won that game 7-6. 7-6. It was 3-3 in the first, no scoring in the second except one goal, and that wound up being the game winner. And then wound up 3-3 at the very end. Actually, even though Colorado scored a goal to make it a 1-goal game, they didn't have enough. They were down by 2 goals. So, and that's it, 7-6 in that one. That's going to be an interesting series to finish it off. And then the Canucks beat the Predators 4-2.
Yep.
I fully expect that that's going to be, that's how that series is going to end. So there was really no surprise other than 7-6. When you see that a football score for a hockey game, that's never good.
No, that's for, well, I mean, the 5-1 of the Bruins and the Leafs, that wasn't a shock. Like you figured the Bruins were going to beat the brakes off the Leafs.
Well, and the Leafs stink. I mean, let's face it. The Leafs are great in the regular season, or good in the regular season, and then they wind up pooping the bed in the playoffs. That's what the Leafs do. That's why they don't. That's why they have gone. I think it's like 70 years since they've won a cup.
Yeah.
They make the playoffs a lot, but then blow it. And they have a venerable all-star team on their roster, and still
can't get it done.
Poop to bed. So, and that's what's been happening in in the playoff pictures that none of our teams are in.
Sadly.
But interestingly enough,
yours is in basketball at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Sixers. I like I said, tonight's going to really be a good test. I'd like to see the Sixers pull this one off, but still not over if they lose. But the Knicks are a formidable team. They're going to come out to play. They didn't come out here to lose. So, and I missed the birthday party yesterday. I had some other things that I had to take care of and stuff like that, because this week there's something else happening this week. There's something else going on that's going to take over most of sports, at least for me, and that is the NFL draft.
Absolutely. I'm ready for it. I'm tired of seeing mock drafts. I want to see the actual draft.
There's been tons and tons and tons of NFL draft Hey, this is how this draft is going to go. This is how this draft is going to go.
Mock
This is how
draft
this draft.
45. It's like, come on, guys.
Right. 4.6,
That's
because
right.
I only changed a couple of the picks in the first round. So here's what I want to talk about a little bit, and we'll talk about it a little bit more once we have our guest come back, for the first time in a long time,
That's right.
to find out how the Cowboys are going to go on this draft. Where do you see the Seahawks? Like now that we're here, who do you think that the Seahawks are really going to?
Yeah, so I mean, I really don't think they're going quarterback. If they do, like, there's a small chance that if Penix is around, because of who the offensive coordinator is, they may take they may take him, right? But exactly, Chad. No more mock drafts. I never even created one. I was annoyed by them before they even really got going. But purely for speculation on the show, I really think, based on history of what the Seahawks do and the fact that their GM is still their GM, right, is they will probably trade back and they will go either interior offensive line, or they'll go with a defensive tackle, maybe an edge rusher. They'll probably trade back to the low to mid 20s, right? I've seen I've seen a couple of things where they might actually trade with Philly, right? And if that's the case, that puts us 22 is your pick, if I remember right. So at that spot, they can go for, a center, something to that effect would be kind of where I see them going there. But yeah.
So I'm gonna let's do it this way. I'm gonna go from 2014. Let's go back the last 10 years.
Okay.
So in 2014, you traded the pick to the Cincinnati Bengals. In 2015, where you guys had the 31st pick in the draft, you traded the pick to the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, we ended up out of the first round altogether, I think.
Correct.
Yep.
2016, Jermaine Ifedi.
Yep.
Still on the team?
No, Ifedi, he lasted a couple of years and then, traded away.
Got you. Okay. 2017, you traded the pick to the Atlanta Falcons. 2018, Rashad Penny.
Yeah, that did not work out.
No, seeing he was on the Eagles last year, and I think is still, listed as part of their roster right now.
He is not. So he's a free agent. He actually did come to Seattle. They did talk to him. It looks like he could be kind of a vet minimum, like super backup running back. But I think why they are entertaining him is the new kickoff rules. His running style would actually be good for.
Okay.
So if you used him as a special teams guy, you got him for a vet minimum. You don't have to worry so much about his injury history because his touches are low. And if he's your fourth option at running back, that kind of bodes well for him staying healthy all season. So I could entertain the idea of Rashad Penny coming back mostly as a return guy.
Understood. In 2019, you had defensive end LJ Collier.
Yep.
Still on the team?
Shouldn't be.
No, LJ Collier didn't pan out very well.
I mean, we had a bottom 5 defense, so I think just about all of them are gone at this point.
Okay. 2020, Jordan Brooks.
Brooks was good. We did just trade him away.
Gotcha. 2021, you traded to the New York Jets, 14th pick. Not sure for what. 2022, offensive lineman Charles Cross.
And Cross was good. Cross had a great rookie season, was injured last year.
But still on the team.
He is still on the team.
Okay, and then last year you had 2 first-round picks that you decided not to trade at all. Devin Witherspoon.
Yep. Still on the team. Stud.
He's a stud. And then Smith Najigba.
Oh, Jackson Smith. Yeah. Also stud, still on the team.
All right. So out of all that, really the last 2 years, you've been okay. I mean, that Cross is good, but he's obviously hurt right now.
Well, he's healthy now. He was hurt last year. Both of our rookie tackles. So we picked up 2 tackles the year before. We got Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross. And the first year, they both played incredibly well. Last year, they both got injured the first half of the Rams game to start the season. And so the offensive line was a mess the rest of the year. Charles Cross came back, I think, week 10 or 11. And then Lucas came back like week 13 or something. So, I mean, we just never had any continuity on the offensive line. But both of those pickups were really good.
Okay. Wow. As I'm looking at some of the picks that you guys have had, being a Seattle fan for most of your life, is there a first round pick that you think is better than everybody else?
Like, you mean all time? Like, I don't.
Yeah. Who is your all time best first round pick? From what I could see, and I'm going back now, I'm going all the way back into the 90s too.
Okay.
So like, there's one that I see here that's like that guy was amazing. I don't remember if he stayed there and made his bones there or went somewhere else. That guy. But Kurt Warner from Penn State was a great running back.
No doubt.
But I have here, because it goes back 76, your first round draft pick was a defensive tackle from Notre Dame, Steve Nyhouse.
Okay.
Let's see. Who are the names that I see? There was one too specific. Cortez Kennedy
is going to be one of the best, if not the best.
Right.
Tez was an absolute monster.
He was pick number 3 in the 1990 draft. Rick Meyer not going to be on that list?
Definitely not going to be on the list. Definitely not going to be on the list. That's a little bit of a bust. A little bit of a bust.
How about a one Joey Galloway?
Galloway was an absolute stud. I'm trying to remember if Kenny Easley was a first-round pick or not. I can't remember.
Kenny Easley. How about a one Sean Alexander?
So the thing that's funny is I think Sean Alexander's a little bit overrated. I understand he won the league MVP and he had the rushing title, almost won it 2 years in a row. He missed it the second time by 1 yard, I believe. But the thing is you had the best left side ever assembled in football. Everyone could run behind that line. And you had a lead blocker in Max Strong, our fullback, who is an absolute wrecking ball. Yeah, I should hope that you can get some yards behind, Hutchison, and you got a lead block by Max Strong. Like, come on. So I think he's a little bit overrated. As soon as he didn't have that ridiculous left side, he didn't do anything. They traded him to Washington where he did nothing. He was a finesse runner, right? And so he liked to go side to side, which is fine if you have bulldozers grading the way for you. If you have to actually get through people, it doesn't work. Now, when he was within the red zone, he ran differently because he wanted touchdowns. So when he was in the red zone, he would actually try and break tackles and run hard, try and truck people. But if you were not in the red zone, if you got a hand on him, he was going down.
Understood. Okay. So how about a Steve Hutchinson?
Hutch was that dude. Like they've had some pretty amazing picks through the years, but yeah. Hutch was part of that line I was talking about.
I can imagine because obviously he was a guard. He was picked up the next year. He was the second pick. You had 2 picks that draft as well. So there must have been a trade that was made where you were able to trade for 2 consecutive uh, first round picks. Because, like I said, you had pick 9 and 17. Your first pick in that draft was Corin Robinson, who I'm
Okay.
sure didn't make as much of a wave as Steve Hutchinson did.
No, but Corin Robinson was a good player, though.
Yeah. Marcus Trufant. I remember that name kind of a little bit.
Yep. Trufant was good. The only thing that True got beat up on was you could beat him with double moves. Like that was the thing that, ultimately if you were to get him, if your quarterback had time, you could beat Marcus Trufant with a double move.
Right. And anybody else choosing that wound up getting a Walter Jones?
Yeah. So that's the other part of that line. So you had Walter Jones and Steve Hutchinson next to each other. You had Max Strong coming behind as a lead blocker. And that's how you ended up with Sean Alexander leading the league in rushing, because Walter Jones and Steve Hutchinson were absolute monsters of humans.
Okay. So they was the second pick in that first round on that draft. The first pick was a defensive back from Ohio State, Sean Springs.
Springs was also an amazing defender. We're not talking about Pete picks. We're talking all-time first rounders for the Seahawks.
Yeah, here was another one who's got a star next to his name. That a 1981 pick number 4 from UCLA defensive back Kenny Easley.
There we go. Yeah, he was a safety, Hall of Fame safety, one of the very few numbers that are retired by the Seahawks. I was pretty sure he was a first rounder.
Yes. Other than that, I mean, there's your first rounders. So you guys have out of your entire draft, starting from 1976, your first rounders have gotten 1. And I'm talking Hall of Famers, 2.
Well, I mean, we don't have a ton of Hall of Famers.
3, 4, which I'll be honest, isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things. Because you got to think about it. Like every team gets a first round pick. Not everybody who's in the Hall of Fame was a first round pick.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's for sure. Because Steve Largent wasn't a first round pick. He was our first Hall of Famer.
Where's he at? We don't know. He's writing some stories. He's doing them things. So in comparison, yes, that's what I'm going to go over. We're going to do the Eagles as well.
The Eagles have a couple more years.
Yeah, so we're not going to go all the way back into the annals of history. We will start. I will start from.
Keep it in the Super Bowl era.
Let's go 1980. Let's start 1980 because really before that is kind of tough. We started at 1976 just in comparison. Maybe we'll start there.
Sure.
Let's to keep it say first round picks. There we go. Let's get that
But yeah, I mean when you go through all of that, what you do notice is the Seahawks do trade out of that first round pick a lot.
There was like 7 different times where that first round pick was traded away.
Especially as of late. Like when you look at the Schneider era, like it's they trade out of it a lot. Or if they don't trade out, they trade back.
Yes. So let's go. We're starting at 1976. The one thing that the Eagles do not do is they very rarely trade out. So, interestingly enough, in the 70s, they did it a lot. So, 74, they traded to the Rams. 75, they traded to the Rams. 76, wow. It was like, and they were at the exact same spot each time. The 11th pick to the Rams. 75, the 11th pick to the Rams. 76, the 11th pick to the Bengals. 77, the 7th pick to the Bengals. 78, the 8th pick to the Bengals. So, wow, we traded a lot of picks.
And you're
79.
high. You're high on the board. Those were not good years.
Oh yeah, exactly. We stunk. 79, we picked Jerry Robinson. And 1980, Roynell Young. Roynell Young was good. You know, Leonard Mitchell in 81. Nope, no good. 82, Mike Quick. He would have been a Hall of Famer had he not gotten hurt. That's a real thing. 83, Michael Haddix, a running back. No, he didn't really pan out. In 1984, Kenny Jackson from Penn State, a wide receiver. He was okay. Offensive tackle Kevin Allen from 1985. Nope. 1986, a running back named Keith Byers. He was good. And here's another, could have been Hall of Famer, but didn't play long enough, unfortunately. 1987, in the first round, pick number 9, Jerome Brown. So he was amazing. He just he passed a little too early. 1988, another guy who should have been a Hall of Famer, and because he didn't like the ownership, because nobody liked the ownership then, he moved on. Tight end from Oklahoma, Keith Jackson. He was amazing. 89, we traded to the Indianapolis Colts. In 90, we picked Ben Smith, who was a defensive back. Didn't really fit into our system there. Offensive tackle Antoine Davis in 91. That didn't pan out very well either. 92, we traded the first round pick to the Packers. In 93, this was a great draft for us. Pick Lester Holmes, a guard from Jackson State, and Leonard Renfro, a defensive tackle. Both of them stunk. 94, Bernard Williams, offensive tackle, Pew. 95, in 1995, we picked the guy who made up the hurry stack, Mike Mamula, defensive end from Boston College.
Can't get all the way there, but you're still disrupting the play. I'm not mad at it.
Exactly. 96, we took Jermaine Mayberry, who would have been a very good offensive lineman, except for the fact that he had head problems. He just couldn't. He literally, he didn't want to play. And that was the problem. He was good at it. He just didn't want to play.
Yeah. Well.
97, John Harris, a defensive end. Nope. 98, we had a really good pick. And this guy, he's not a Hall of Famer, but might have been in the conversation, but there were some other offensive tackles who were really good during that time. Trey Thomas.
Okay.
1999 was pick number 2 of the NFL draft, was a quarterback from Syracuse, the best quarterback at this moment in Eagles history, Donovan McNabb. 2000, defensive tackle Corey Simon. He wasn't too bad. 2001, Freddie Mitchell, wide receiver from UCLA. Fred X. No.
I don't remember.
No, he had one good catch. He was the 4th and 26 guy. I like to thank my hands for being so great. So, Lito Shepherd in 2002 was amazing. It's a shame he is not in the Hall of Fame. He was a fantastic defensive back. Jerome McDougal, no, did not pan out here. Sean Andrews, no, did not pan out here. Mike Patterson, he was okay. He was all right. Nothing great.
I mean, okay isn't really worth the first rounder, though.
No, that's the problem here, because obviously that was pick 31. So, I mean, it wasn't like he was a high-end first pick.
Yeah, okay.
2006 was Broderick Bunkley. He was bunk. 2007, we traded our pick to the Cowboys. In 2008, we traded it to the Panthers. In 2009, we had Jeremy Maclin. He was good. 2010, we got a defensive end who is still on the team today, Brandon Graham.
Oh yeah.
So 14 years later, he's still here.
Hey, that one worked out.
That one has worked out. Danny Watkins in 2011, nope. 2012, we got a defensive tackle with pick number 12 that just retired, Fletcher Cox.
Also a good pick.
So yeah, again,
Well,
he's a Hall of Famer.
You guys should have been trading out of the first round.
For the most part. 2013, we have our current offensive tackle, Lane Johnson. So really, 2010, yeah, 2013. So
Crazy.
Pick number 4. 2014, Marcus Smith, nope. 2015, a guy who's still in the league. He's not with the Eagles anymore. He did have a good Super Bowl, has a touchdown in the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles. One Nelson Aguilar.
Oh yeah.
2016, we have a quarterback who's still in the league, not with the Eagles. Pick number 2 from North Dakota State University, now backing up for the Los Angeles Rams. Or no, now backing up Patrick Mahomes for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh yeah.
Carson Wentz.
Yep.
Derek Barnett.
That was a good pick.
Actually, I mean, let's think about that. They could have. You could say that they would not have gone on that Super Bowl run without him.
No. I agree. I agree. They probably wouldn't have, but it was a pick that didn't pan out, and ultimately cost a lot of money.
Yes, it did. We'll leave it at that. Derek Barnett, defensive end, meh. Yeah, he wasn't so great. However, he had the fumble recovery that somewhat clinched the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
2018, we traded to the Ravens. 2019, we traded up to get one Washington State offensive tackle, Andre Dillard. He did not pan out.
Yeah, I was going to say
he's still in the NFL. I mean, he's from 2019, but our 7th round pick wound up being our offensive tackle currently, and that is Jordan Mailata, done in the same draft. 2020 was Jalen Reagor. No. Jalen Reagor should have not been there. That should have been Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
In 21, we traded with the Cowboys to screw the Giants and took Devonta Smith. He just got a bigger contract. 22, we have Jordan Davis. He is still, we're there still. 2023, Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, both from Georgia.
Yep.
So our last 3 first-round picks have been defensive linemen from Georgia.
I mean, Carter's a stud.
Yeah, in that 4-year time span, I do not believe that. I'm not in belief that Brandon Graham is going to be a Hall of Famer.
No, that's fair.
Fletcher Cox will be, and Lane Johnson will be.
No doubt.
I think both of those guys are Hall of Famers. And we'll have to see about everybody else. Everybody else is still in the mix there. So I would say as of late, the Eagles have been doing better in the first round picks.
Well, I mean, when you look back at what they did over the last, 40 years prior, I would absolutely agree with that. I kind of disagree with that.
Rob, you could say a lot of different things. Cunningham was amazing in a lot of different ways, but he won one playoff game his entire career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's and sometimes you actually have to give that a little bit. You have to give that little bit of, you're like, okay, there's something to that. Amazing.
They spent a lot of time in the playoffs.
Right. And not only that, but beyond everything else, first off, his greatest season was with the Vikings, so it wasn't really with the Eagles. Had he stayed with the Vikings, and think about that, he had a rookie wide receiver that year that made him so great. Everybody forgets that rookie wide receiver wound up going into the Hall of Fame and is now a meme on ESPN every week where they say you got mossed.
Exactly.
So, but Reggie White is still missed today, but he was not a first round pick in the draft. He was part of the draft that came from the USFL. And the Eagles wound up winning that one because, we just had a faster pick in that draft. I think we had the third pick in that draft, which is where we got him. He was, and by far, the absolute best, to ever play that position, I feel. Even Aaron Donald, I think I would have to give it up to Reggie White. Just my opinion. So, yeah. But, like I said, even though, Cunningham, like I said, I can go back and forth on whether Cunningham should be in the Hall of Fame or not.
So I could see him being in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, as great as he was, the problem I have with him, he didn't have all of the stats to make him a Hall of Famer. But if you could go in on the story alone, you could say he was the first truly mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
That was his game. Everybody could say Fran Tarkenton was that guy, and I can appreciate where they come from with that. But the truth of the matter is that the quarterback play, Fran was good scrambler.
Yeah. Because
his offensive line stunk.
Yep.
That being said, he was good and led the Vikings to a couple of Super Bowls where they lost. But Randall Cunningham was truly the first mobile quarterback. Mm-hmm. And, without Randall Cunningham, there is no Michael Vick.
No, for sure.
You could say it like that because ultimately they saw a style of play that happened with Randall because they didn't care about the offense. They didn't care about the offense at all. That was all defense. It was defense was going to win us those championships. And that's what happened.
It's a good thing Russell Wilson paved the way for those guys.
Yeah. Russell Wilson didn't pave shit. Just saying. And Chris, you're mentioning all these names. First off, Ricky Wooders was drafted by the 49ers. Irving Fryer was drafted by the Dolphins. I can't put any of those guys on the list. We're not talking about Hall of Famers. We're talking about first-round picks, and that up until recently,
teams.
Up until recently, the Eagles weren't very good at that first-round picks.
Yep.
They're better now. I will say. So hopefully we can continue the trend of first-round picks that do well for us rather than fail.
Yep. It's actually one of the things I worry a little bit is if we do use a first rounder, if we trade back like I'm thinking we will, and we pick up an offensive lineman, we've missed more of those than we've hit. So that's the only thing I worry about there. But
well, I understand that. And like I said, the last offensive lineman, this is why I'm afraid, and you might be able to tell me a little different, the offensive lineman from Washington. I have a problem with taking offensive linemen from the Pac-10.
No, so the thing that's funny is I could get with that if you were talking about a defensive lineman. Offensive linemen aren't too bad.
Yeah, the problem is that you don't have really number one talent in the defensive line. And that's why I have the biggest issue. Because the moment they played against a real defensive line, he was running for his life and getting crushed.
I mean, they did play some decent defenses. Nobody was going to square up well against Michigan. Like Michigan, half of their team is going to the NFL this year. I mean, when you think of college football, right? generally, this is why I always laugh when people are like, oh yeah, this college team could beat NFL teams. Like, there's no chance, because usually when you think of a college team, there are 3 to 5 All-American potential NFL guys at best, right? And they're not generally in the same position group. Like, they're sprinkled through the team. So when you looked at Michigan, they had a rare team that, there's probably 10 guys going to make the NFL. That's not common, right? You're usually like 2 to 5 guys max on your best teams. So,
except like Alabama, Georgia, those types of teams.
Yeah, but usually those guys get picked because of the unit, and a bunch of those guys wash out. So you still only end up with a few that actually stick.
Right.
Like, some of them get there because the team was good, and then they get in the league and they don't pass the eye test because now they don't have, all of these other All-Americans around them, and they're not playing, a below average school. They're playing the NFL, right? Which is 52 guys that were the best on their team at every level until they got to the NFL. So it's just wildly different. This Michigan team just had a lot more talent on the roster. I don't know that anybody was really taking them down in that particular game.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we are at the top of the hour. Once we get past our station identification, we'll talk about the other rounds of the draft and what we want from our teams to be able to choose as we move forward, some of the holes that we need to get filled and how they're going to be able to fill them. So let's do our station identification, and we will be back in just a few moments. I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face.
I'm from Brooklyn.
Hey, get an each.
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends. What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Sometimes, all you need to change your life is a sign. A sign that says, "Hank, this is the place you've been looking for." And sometimes that sign is an actual sign that's mounted to a building. One second, I'm looking at a sign. I know what you're thinking, and no, I don't love B-dubs just because I'm a buffalo with wings. Frankly, that's offensive and reductionist. Cause this place, come on. It's like they took beer and made it into a place and then gave that place sports and chicken wings. And the people? Cuba. The best.
Oh! What the is going on, Marty? This isn't a game. This is trivia.
Yeah, this place is kind of like heaven. You know, without needing to get hit by a bus. Let's go, sports bar.
Supporting the needs of our veterans. That's the goal of all of us at Team AmVets. Like Mitch, Carlos, and Kevin from our Welcome Home team that brings furniture to our vets.
We are Team AmVets.
Or Linda from our thrift stores who brings you great bargains every day.
I am Team AmVets.
And John, who picks up your thrift store donations that support California veterans programs.
I am Team AmVets.
Visit our website or Team Ambet's thrift store to donate or shop today.
Join the team.
And we are back.
So here's the real question. Out of those commercials, because she's already drinking at 10, is she going to Arizona State or Washington State?
None of those places. She's going to Indiana School of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
UP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
I don't know. There's some pretty solid drinking that happens at Arizona State and Washington State.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, don't they? It's a matter of who votes the most for those.
Well, mostly like Washington State is always nailed with that because there's nothing else around. Like that is all there is to do in Pullman.
How about that? Congratulations to Harper on his third child. And Cody Clemens. Yeah, not Clement. Clement was a hockey player. Cody Clemens is the son of Hall of Fame, or should be Hall of Fame pitcher, Roger Clemens. Yeah.
So does he have like a life coach of Phillip Rivers, or what are we doing?
Well, he's only having his third kid.
No, I know, but third of many, or are we stopping there? What are you thinking?
Listen, I believe, I'm almost positive, and I don't know, I don't like ask religions and stuff like that. I believe he's Mormon.
Oh, he's having more. He's on that Phillip Rivers train.
Yeah. Same thing with JT. Real Muto. Real Muto is Jacob Thomas. That's what JT stands for.
Okay.
So anybody named Jacob is going to have lots of children. I'm a firm believer of that, right? So. But congratulations to him on his third child. I will make sure not to choose him to hit a home run today. However, I will say that I did call one. Somebody asked me the other day, and I don't ever really say who's going to hit a home run. Who do you think is going to hit a home run today? But somebody asked me, I says, you're going to make a bet on it? I says, if I had to bet on it today, I said, I'm saying Brandon Marsh. He's like, you know what? I'm going to bet it right now. It was a plus 420, I think it was, for him to hit a home run.
Okay.
First at bat, knocked one out.
Nice.
And they're like, man, I didn't run into him again, but I definitely mentioned it. I'm like, you're welcome. And then the other guy who I told it to, I'm like, hey man, I think that he's the one. I said, maybe if you don't want to go for home run, I think you can get him two and a half bases today, like plus 2.5 bases, so which means that he'd have to hit a single and a double would be 3 bases. That's how that worked. So he also crushed that. So I don't know what that one was, but a home run solves all those problems right away.
That it does.
I wish I was a gambler like that and I can do these same game parlays and stuff like that, because some of these things I'm really good at. I don't think somebody's going to hit a home run every game. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I believe that, like, hey, if maybe as a whole, the team will hit 3 home runs or 2 home runs.
Sure.
And
it comes down to matchup too.
Right.
Because the odds of me betting a home run against the Sox is wildly different than, the Diamondbacks or, the pitching's terrible. Like they're out there throwing batting practice. Someone's going to yank it in the stands.
Well, I mean, that's why I have to imagine anybody who is betting against, that's why I say a plus 420 was a lot against the White Sox.
Oh, were they playing the Sox?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I was just using them as an example, but yeah, I mean, that would have made sense then.
Yeah. And picking a Kentucky Derby winner, I'm not good at that either. Like when it comes to horses, no.
I'd be terrible at
that. That's where I'd rather be lucky than good.
I mean, that's the only way you win that anyway.
Right.
That's all that is. Yeah, no, it's that's like I don't pick other sports. Like I'm good at picking in football. and I understand that that's my wheelhouse, and I don't mess with the rest.
I'm good at picking in football at just regular picks. This team's going to win.
Yeah.
That's it. So I would have to do money line and that's.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like I'll do money line. I actually usually do pretty good against the spread, right? Like I can usually get in on that pretty well. Yeah, I can usually get pretty close on like yardage for players just because again I'm watching matchups, right? So you know where they kind of square off pretty well. So usually I'm pretty good on the football front. Of course, gambling's illegal here in Washington State, so unless I'm going to drive to a casino, I don't get to play anyway. But yeah, on football I'm pretty solid. I don't even dabble in the rest of them because I would just be throwing money away if I tried.
That's so funny that gambling is illegal, but you could definitely do some mushrooms.
Yeah. Yep. Shrooms, weed, like all of that's fine. That's fine. Gambling.
That's the devil's work.
You heathens.
Tell me about it. They feel
dumb.
the same way about that in Texas.
It's so ridiculous. Like it makes no sense. But we have casinos all over, so it's not like you have to drive forever if you wanted to do a sports book. But still,
Is it Indian reservation stuff?
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
We have a bunch of them. So.
Yeah, I figured that. I mean, obviously, it's like if it's illegal in the state, and yet you have a casino right down the street. Let me figure this one out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty easy to add that up, but yeah, no, it's just it sucks because there's plenty of times where you're like, oh, it'd be fun to just throw a $5 bet on something, but I'm not driving to the casino to throw a $5 bet on something. Like I'm not going to drive 45 minutes or more to place a $5 bet and overpay for drinks. Like that makes no sense to me.
I will say this. Last year, I was in a survivor pool.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I wasn't in it. I was in with a friend of mine. She used me as the one to pick all the games. She just went, she asked me every week. She's like, all right, who do I take this week? And I says, take this one, take this one, take this one. We won.
Nice.
Yeah, she won. She won a lot of money. I want to say a lot of money. I think what wound up happening was the last week that everybody was in, everybody chose the same team, and that team lost. And so it wound up getting split like 4 ways. Okay. She wound up winning like $800.
Nice.
Yeah. So I didn't see any of that money, but
of course,
I was happy to say that I did. Because I would give her a couple of teams. I'd be like, hey, there's this team or there's this team. And then she'd tell me, and I'm like, I don't like, when you're in a survivor pool, there's 2 things you never do. You never choose a divisional game as a sure winner.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Can't do it. I don't care if they've got a 20-point spread against them. Do not do it. It's always going to be a sweat. So you can't do that. And
I was in one this last year and I was doing well, and I ended up needing to pick a divisional game because I was saving some top flight games for the coming weeks after, because other people had already picked these top teams. So I was going to be the only one to have them. So I'm like, okay, here we go. I'll take this divisional game. It's one that they should be able to pull off. And they just came up
to bed.
Oh, it came up so short. Like it was at the end of the first quarter, and I was like, well, I guess I'm out of that pool.
Yeah, I like those types of things. And when it comes to gambling, I am actually a much better gambler in hockey.
Okay.
I'm great at hockey. There are trends that you can follow in hockey that make a lot of sense for some reason or another, and of course somebody can go back and start to look and find this all out and whatever, but like Mondays and Wednesdays create very unique things in the algorithm of their world. that you could say, okay, on Monday, every game's going to go over. And it does. You know what I mean? Where,
that's crazy.
like there might be like 4 or 5 games, and every game will go over, and it'll be the home team that wins. Or a Wednesday, same situation. There's only ever 3 or 4 games, and they could all go under. Because you're thinking about it, like hockey players are like normal people. They play a sport, obviously. And and they drink on those same type of, they don't drink. Yeah, they may go have a cocktail after the game on Monday night, Tuesday, but like Tuesday nights. So Tuesday nights, if they play, they all go out to drink because they play a lot on Tuesday nights. So they're regulars at certain spots.
Well, and to be fair, right? Tuesdays are generally some pretty good happy hours. Like just across the nation, right? Like they're just Tuesdays there's a lot of
the happy hours got to be late. They got to be after the games.
No, exactly. Yeah. They got some of those late night, early evening kind of happy hours. Mondays are generally kind of drier because a lot of places do their industry night on Mondays.
Right. No, the witches and bitches.
Yep.
So, but on Tuesdays, if you're not playing, there's still a good chance that you're out because you guys are so used to playing out on the road. Now, if you are an away team, you're just getting into town on Tuesday night and you're in a new bed, you're getting yourself organized and accustomed and stuff like that. You have the early morning skate just to get your skates to see what the ice is like and to play that game a little bit. And then, and then you play that game on Wednesday. So Wednesdays always go under, and typically is better for the away team. Because the Tuesday night home team was out drinking the night before.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think they're playing trivia though, Rob. Like that's probably not the case. But
we play trivia. Well, actually, I don't know if they're playing trivia. I know we play trivia here in my living room on Tuesday nights.
No. It's a really common trivia night. I just don't know that your hockey players are out there playing a lot of trivia.
Correct. So, because hockey players are typically not scholars. I'm not saying that these guys are.
That's a diplomatic way to say it.
Yeah, I haven't seen many Einstein level hockey players. Yeah, not to say that they. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to shut my mouth now after that one.
Yeah, just keep digging.
But those trends actually do occur all the time. And unfortunately, I didn't stick with to find out how well after I had that 1 week where things were just bad against that whole spread that I checked. I didn't check anymore after that because I just wasn't paying attention. Mm-hmm. Somebody had told me that they were betting that trend that I was telling them and that they actually made a good amount of money. So I got to imagine that the trend did pick up after that 1 week where like 4 of my teams on the trend lost. So we had that anomaly week where most of them were losers. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe this system isn't working as well as it did the previous year. When you go 42-6, the pendulum is going to swing back the other way, obviously. So
of course.
I looked at it as a pendulum swing, and that ultimately it was going back in the opposite direction after that. The guy who continued to use my system said that, yeah, that was an anomaly, but your system works great. So, but I couldn't tell you about that one specifically in any real sense. So, and of course, it's only gambling. So everything that I say, take with a grain of salt because something could happen in that game and everything's going to lose.
Well, yeah, I mean, like that's the biggest thing is like, okay, even if everything goes as planned, all it requires is somebody getting hurt. And anything you talked about is a wrap. I mean,
not even, say the guy got hurt and because of that, you're choosing against the other team and the rest of the team actually picks up because
of it. No. I mean, during the game. Right? Like if it happened before the game, a lot of times, you'll get people to pick up. But like if somebody gets hurt during the game, usually it messes the flow of the game up.
Well, and the only thing I have to say about that is like, think of Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, he got hurt in that game, and they still won.
They did. That shouldn't have happened, but yes, it does happen sometimes.
It does happen sometimes.
That was an ugly game.
So, but yes, I would say that when it comes to actually gambling with these same game parlays, those are. I've seen some people win some money, some big money.
Oh, you can.
Not betting a tremendous amount.
If you can get one of those 5 or 6 leg, that you threw $10 on, but the odds are so high. Like if they hit, you're just like, oh, nice. Let me just go ahead and pay my house off.
Yeah, that's why. Like my problem is that I'm like, I'll bet. Like it's like betting those paper pools. Everybody used to see those paper pools, and I bet like 15 games to try to win. I put $1 on it, and if you just invested $1 for nothing, is really because no chance all 15 teams are going to win. Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Ohtani is the perfect example of that. Yeah. Same game parlays with Ohtani. How much did he bet on this game?
Apparently nothing. Apparently he didn't even know gambling existed.
And how about I will have to say that how that just poofed. Poof.
Gone.
Good work. Good work by everybody on that. You don't hear anything about that whatsoever.
Yep. Yeah, like how much did they pay ESPN to just never talk about it again?
Well, that's Disney, and Disney is in LA.
It is.
Go figure.
But when you think of FS1, right? Like when you think of all of a sudden it went from it's leading the thing to, oh, I guess he didn't know about it. Moving on. It's like, what?
Yeah, I believe this. So, but ultimately, the other thing I'd like is not beyond the same game parlays. You could almost picking baseball games isn't very difficult. I think when you're in the dog days of summer, there are too many chances to be able to win more than lose. You could see the trends, you could see how things go, and
sure,
like I feel like I could probably win some money until I make my first actual bet.
Yeah, then you're going to get smoked.
Right. Because I'll pick without putting a dime on things. I could say, yeah, you could bet this, you could bet this, you could bet this. And ultimately, they will lose.
Yep.
What do we have here? Dun, 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 dun.
Wow.
From out of the depths comes light. Light outside of the darkness. We have a McLovin sighting.
Yep. How you doing, man?
Well, I will tell you, this is my official. I am 100% back. I do have my therapy in the morning, first hour of the show, but I will definitely be here in the second hour of the show until physical therapy is over with. But I will tell you, the neat thing, when we talked about me going into this, the first initial, it's a lot more painful than I ever gave it credit for. I fell down a few times. The wife got scared a few times, but I made it through. And it's crazy. It's crazy. It was. I will tell anybody who was going through knee reconstruction, if you ever do that, just be prepared. It's about a month of severe pain, and if they give you 5 milligrams of oxycodone, you tell them to go back, triple that thing, maybe even quadruple it, and bring it back to you because 5 milligrams won't do nothing for you. I'm just trying to tell you. Okay,
I mean,
but it's good to be back. I'm in a new studio. I'm living life, and I'm just happy about my boys.
Of course it hurts. They're literally chopping your leg apart.
Bo, I'm not a medical person. I don't know what they do. But let me tell you something. They put this little thing in your nose, and everything goes black. And then you come out of it, and you realize you got a neck tape.
Anytime they put the bones off, that shit's going to hurt.
Hey, listen, you realize when you come out of surgery And the first thing you hear is a guy who, because they put you in rooms of 2 people, right? The VA, you're not getting your personal room. Your room was, they got a little roommate, right? And there's a divider curtain between you and the roommate. And the roommate keeps asking for fruit cups. Every time a meal comes, hey, can I get extra fruit cups? It got to the point where I would say, look, just give my fruit cups to fruit cups. And I nicknamed his ass Fruit Cups. Awesome. And that's how it was. Ever since I said, Fruit Cups, it's nice to see you, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I can imagine that was very fruity.
See,
you have no idea. You have no idea.
I would have been making a game of it. I'd be like, no, bring me my fruit cups and I'm going to chuck them at this guy.
It's like, oh my God, every time he brought a fucking meal 3 times a day, it was like, can I get some extra fruit cups? And I'm like, oh my God. It got to the point where I told my wife, hey, look, man, just go to damn Walmart, bring me a whole big pack of fruit cups. And I was just going to give it to his ass. It's like, just shut up.
I mean, I can't hate on it because hospital food's not good. So at least the fruit cup is going to be all right.
Yeah, I ate what I could recognize. I will tell you that.
Fruity Pebbles.
But I will tell you, Pags, I saw a couple of your videos. I didn't know you were doing WWE now. And then maybe you did this before and I just didn't see it. But I like the spider. I don't understand what that costume was. Were you trying to make your own character or were you trying to emulate somebody?
Oh, it's a shame. I literally just got rid of that banner. You know what? I think I still have it somewhere. Hold on. Let me put it up there. I'll show you exactly.
It was a wrestler.
It was a wrestler. I have to put it up here. Give me 1 second.
I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know how you make the spider so beautiful when you're looking in the mirror. I can't do that. My hands don't operate like that. But it's amazing how you can. No, seriously, this guy's got if Pags ever lost all jobs on the earth, he could be a cosmetologist. This guy could do makeup. He can do stuff. He can draw on your face. It's crazy. Oh yeah, okay, there he is. Yeah, okay, yeah, and you got it pretty damn close too. I mean, that's damn close.
Yeah, I thought so. Obviously, somebody did that for him. Exactly. I was doing it myself, and
it's hard.
Yeah,
I tried doing that one time. It's hard.
So, but obviously, it came out pretty good. I thought, I didn't think they'd let me in with spikes or anything like that, but it was, and that was Animal from the Legion of Doom.
Okay. Man, I don't know. I turned on Facebook the other day and I saw Pags in the video and he's dressed up like for WWE. And I was like, holy crap, he's doing WWE now. And I just thought the costume was amazing. I thought you did a good job with the costume, man. I really did.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, it was one of those. It was for Raw. I wasn't going to try to do that for WrestleMania because I just don't know the storylines in WrestleMania well enough to be able to make that occur like that. So, but for Raw, it was like, okay, this is only 20,000 people, not 100,000 people. Let's try to make this occur.
So what I hear is you got a homework assignment for WrestleMania. That's what I hear. You got a homework assignment.
Well, WrestleMania is over.
So. No, but next year. I'm talking about next year. Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, let's.
We'll see guys at WrestleMania.
If WWE wants to send me to WrestleMania to do that type of stuff, I'll go right there. They can introduce me the same way they introduced Pat McAfee.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll go up there doing my dance and things like that. I'll be more than happy.
I would so give anything to watch your ass get suplexed. God.
Man, I'm the one doing the body slamming. I get to body slam people. You think this physique is small? Wait till I take my shirt off. I gotta just put paint on the 6-pack before I do that. But I got it. Paint it on.
I just want to see you and Bad Bunny go at it in the ring, and I want to see Bad Bunny either you slam him or him slam you. I'd rather see him slam you because I would get much more gratification out of that. But it doesn't matter.
Bad Bunny, is he the singer?
He is, but he also does wrestling on WWE. He's kind of like that. There's another guy, Miz.
He was just in concert. Bad Bunny, here in Philly.
Yeah, him and Miz. Him and Miz they're kind of like the entertainment side of WWE, right? They're like your celebrity, whatever you want to call them. I don't know what the actual word for it is. They're like the what's the word, man? Influencers. There you go. Social media influencers that come on into WWE. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind seeing you go against the Miz. I think that'd be kind of cool.
There we go. Pags and Kelsey versus McLovin and a Dallas Cowboy player of his choice.
Oh, my choice? Oh, D-Law. Let's go, baby. We're going to reach some freaking havoc on these moles.
Not with your knee.
No, not with my knee.
Aha, see? No, you are the weakest link.
Better now.
Hey, just like golf, you get a handicap. Or a player to play in lieu of me. Ooh, can I name that guy that whoever put that? I don't know who put that comment in, but whoever put that comment in, can you give me two choices? Because if that's so, then I'm going with D-Law, and I'm going and I'm gonna. They won't give me the second choice.
This isn't a choice. You don't get choices here.
No, think about it.
I mean,
you're gonna do the knee drop with the metal knee. You already have the advantage.
It's the metal knee drop.
But off the top rope with knee down, do some damage.
That's another thing I thought about too. This whole knee replacement thing is like when I go through airports now. Let's say I want to take a flight somewhere. How long is it going to take me to get through airport security at this point?
Well, you get a card. You get a card.
No, they didn't give me shit.
Yeah, no. When you go through the thing, you hand them the card, and then they give you the wand over your knee, and they say, "Have a good day." It's actually not that bad.
But who gives you the card? Is it TSA or is it your doctor?
You have to apply for it.
Okay. Well, I got some things to do then.
Yeah, just go through, like I said, go through the TSA stuff. Like I'm trying to become a world traveler, but they're so far backed up.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet they are. With everything that's going on in the world, you can't tell me they're not backed up, and that's a slow process.
Like for me, I have I have pre-check, but I also have global entry. So when I'm coming in from
really?
It's the way to go, man. Plus, with the pre-check, I don't have to take my stupid shoes off and stuff. You get through.
You know what? The problem I run into is I still have to do that. I still have to take my shoes off because I typically am wearing boots. And
why don't you wear sandals and call it good?
Huh?
Why don't you wear some sandals and call it good?
I don't wear sandals. I'm not a sandals guy.
I know, but and I'm not either. Trust me, Pags, I'm not either. But I will tell you this: when going through airport security, my ass will wear some sandals because it's so much easier just to get through security with some sandals than having to.
Unless you have pre-check and then you just walk through.
Well, and I'm not a big fan of that clear. I'm not a fan of the clear.
Yeah.
It's like first off, not every airport has clear.
Yeah,
I know that was it. But it's clear.
The clear was done. The clear was done specifically during. You could get the Clear app, and you needed to have the Clear app to even get into the draft a couple of years ago with the NFL and such because they pushed it. But it was meant more for during the COVID time, where you go in, it's a facial recognition. They find it. You make sure that you're not sick and all this other stuff, and then you get escorted through to the front of the line from TSA.
Huh.
So, but
I haven't seen anything like that at Bush at Houston Intercontinental Airport. I haven't seen anything like that. That's interesting. Okay, shoot.
So,
hey, Pags, have you guys? I don't know if you guys have talked recently on this. Have you guys talked about the NBA awards or anything like that? Like the NBA MVP and who y'all thought would, or who you think is going to take it?
Not yet.
Okay, I didn't. I was just curious. I didn't know if y'all had talked about that or not.
No, not at all. Why? Do you think of somebody specific? We were talking more about the NFL draft and how the Cowboys have no money to pay anybody that they're going to draft, so they're going to just trade their draft picks.
You know what? It's okay to say that, and it's okay to admit that I know that. It is what it is. You knew our cap situation going into this season. It was at 19 million, and now it's like it dropped down like 8 or 9 million when they bumped up the cap space. But even with that, you're right. I mean, and again, that's my problem with the Cowboys right now. Again, it goes back to Jerry Jones and those 3 damn signings of Zeke and Amari Cooper and Dak. That really hurt them immensely to the point where you and I don't know, maybe you might be jokingly talking about it where we don't have enough money to pay the people from the draft. But on honesty, I can see that actually being a reality. Like, how do you if you're over the cap, how are you going to pay your draft picks? I don't think that's possible. So I think they do draft them away for future rounds and later drafts because they can't do nothing this year. Let me draft you, but I don't have a check to write.
But he said he was going all in this year.
Yeah, I don't know what all in meant. I mean, with Jerry Jones, who knows? I mean, all in could be he went all in on his Vicodin. I don't know.
Well, you know what? I did hear that because you owe so much money from your cap to Zeke is going to come back.
You know what? You know what this reminds me of? I remember one year. Back in my high school years, I had a pilar cyst in the back of my head, and they went and they removed it. And sure enough, that fucker came back because they didn't take the sack out. See, the trick is you got to take the sack out when you take the cyst. The problem with the Cowboys is they keep taking.
That wasn't a cyst. That was your actual brain. It didn't come back either. That was just fluid.
You know, if I could mute you,
that became a zit.
That's actually probably some of these echoes that Frankie's hears.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
The echo is definitely coming from him. So
no, it's coming from me because I got to put some soundproofing crap in here. I'm working on
it. I like that you're watching Buffy. Is that what's happening there? We see the reflection in the TV.
Oh, that's my other TV. I always keep Maury on so I can see all the crazy people that I'm glad my life is 10 times better than.
Oh, that's.
But anyway,
Maury Povich.
Yeah, I watch Maury.
Father.
You are not. Hey, if I only told you how many times in my life I've heard that. I have had some. Anyway, I don't know where this show is going. Sometimes we talk sports and it just goes off into some tangents. But
right. It's. I mean, that's normal. That's fine.
Let me ask you a question, Bo and Pags. Since my time away, have you had these kinds of tangent moments? I don't think you have, or maybe you have.
There's been a few. But no. Normally, we kind of stay a little closer to sports for a sports show. You know.
And that's the thing. I took some courses on how to stay closer to a sports show, so I think I'm doing better. You know, you guys took me off some rabbit holes, but I'm doing better.
I like that everybody's ready to barbecue you for the Astros.
Yes,
man. Listen, hey, and that's another thing. Hey, no, and that's okay, Frankie. Hey, look, that's okay. Hey, Frankie, for the first time in 7 years, your Yankees actually might have an optional chance. But set the Yankees aside for a minute. By the way, the Yankees are actually doing quite well. Juan Soto, guy's phenomenally doing great. Can't take nothing away from it. I honestly think this is the rebirth of Juan Soto from the Washington National years. I think San Diego was just a stop in hell that he should have never gone to be honest with you.
They got traded.
Yeah,
he got traded there, so he didn't have a choice.
Well, it's not like he didn't have a choice. But that's where having a no trade clause comes in. Sometimes you have a no trade clause and that'll help you. But
yeah, but
because you can always go to the no trade clause if you really want to go to that team, right? So
they did make it to the NLCS that year. He just lost to the Phillies.
You know what they say, man. I made it to the delivery room, but I didn't pop out a baby. Okay, so we went home and paid a lot of money for nothing. Okay, that works.
I don't know anything about that. If you're having babies, I don't know that.
I'm sorry, my metaphors are horrible. And it was a metaphor, but it was loosely based.
That took a weird turn. Yeah,
very. Never a dull moment. I tell you, he just got back already. He's getting his band again. So
it makes sense. You said you're on triple the volume of Oxy. Is that what it was?
No, I said I wanted triple the Oxy to deal with the pain. It was almost like dealing with this knee transplant was almost like a woman going into birth, but not taking epidural and saying, I want to go all natural. Yeah. I don't know whoever wants to go all natural on anything. We left all natural when we invented the razor blade and we could cut our own facial hair. I mean,
we just lost half of our female audience, and the other half is now filing stuff with the. I'd say the
Weirdly,
ALCU,
your new house got lit on fire. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
Amazing. It's amazing how that all worked out. There we go. Alex Berg.
See, I like this. Astros even under Oakland. Ouch.
Yeah, the problem. Okay, so the problem with the Astros, from what I've seen so far in this year, with under the new manager of Espada, is number one, I don't like Espada. That's number one. I don't like him as a coach. I don't think he has enough energy for the position. I watched a couple of his press conferences. He doesn't look like he's angry, or I don't know. I don't have a good feeling. Let's just put it that way. My internal feeling is not good. I have a good feeling about Dusty Baker and so forth. I don't have a good feeling about Espada. And from everything I've learned about from Frankie, because Espada used to be a coach with the Yankees, and from everything I've heard about him through his travels, it hasn't been exactly the best. And I don't know why Dana Brown felt like it was necessary to bring him in or elevate him from the bench coach to the head coach. I just don't think he was ready for that, or if he was even that was if he was meant for that. I think he's kind of meant more to be a bench coach. That was problem number one, in my opinion. Problem number two, in my opinion, is the middle relief pitching. If you watch the Astros and all the games that they played, they've been winning them. It's not until they go to the middle relief that they've lost the games, and it just was too much to overcome. So the problem with the Astros is middle relief pitching. They got the closer in Hader, right? They got Presley. They got great closers. They got great starters. But that middle relief, every time if you look at the Astros games, 5th, 6th, and 7th innings, that's where they lose it. And it's always during the middle relief. And I just think that's the biggest problem with this guy.
It wasn't the middle relief that got them down 3-0 yesterday to lose 6-0.
I'm not saying every single game, Pags. Don't take it every single game. That's why I said I'm just saying the majority of it, though, is that middle relief pitching.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you look at it, who was our middle relief?
16. They're 7-16, which is
they are.
Me that it's a
They're
little
terrible.
No.
I'm not saying that's the only reason, but look, Pags, look. When you let go of Hector Neris, when you let go of Stanek and company, that was the anchor that held you down before you could get to Abreu, Presley, and company. And that's where they scored the runs. Look at the games. I mean, don't take my word for it. Go back and look at them. I mean, don't look at every single game, because every single game is not going to give you a barometer, but look at the majority of it and see what you see.
Well, I look at getting swept by the Yankees to start off the season. They finally did win a couple of games, and then they split with the Rangers. But here's telling stats: the Royals 4-3, 11-2, and 13-3. And then the next game, they gave up in 3 games between 2 of the Royals and 1 of the Rangers games. Actually, I'm going to count. Wow. 11, 13, and 12. They give up a lot of runs. Their pitching is not there at all.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about Washington, who won 2 of 3, and Washington stinks out loud. You guys won the first one, gave up 5 runs and 6 runs to a team that has a team batting average of 190.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's not, and there have been times, I will tell you, Pags, and I think you've seen this if you watch the games. There have been times where the Astros have had bases loaded and not got those guys home.
I can imagine.
I've seen several times where they've had bases loaded and they haven't been able to drive in the runs. And I'm thinking, like, you got bases loaded, you can't drive in one damn run? What's your problem?
You've got the 3rd best batting average in Major League Baseball.
Oh, I understand that, but I'm just trying to tell you, you can look at the damn numbers or you can watch the damn game. And I'm watching the damn game and they have bases loaded and they don't get the son of a bitch home. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And when you combine that inefficiency to get the runs home, because you can have 18 hits and only 4 runs. I've seen that many a time. But if your pitching sucks and you can't get the bases loaded home, I mean, that's what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, well.
Time to be alive. I mean, but you know what? Hey, look, man. At some point, I knew the Astros were going to have at some point to come down, because you can't just have 7 straight ALCSs and not have a down year or a down 2 years. I mean, hell, look at the Yankees. You know, look how long it took the Yankees to get back into some form of, and it's still not even over. Because I remember when they had the best, what was it, 2019? I think it was, the Yankees had the best record in the league, and then they turned around and didn't do nothing with it. I mean, it happens. It's baseball.
That's a good question. If the Astros become sellers at the trade deadline, who's out?
Who's leaving?
Gosh. I would tell you primarily, I don't know if they're going to let go of Tucker, because Tucker he's kind of ingrained in them. I think Chas McCormick could be on the trade deadline. I don't think anybody's going to really take a break. I don't know if they're going to put. I think Yanier. I think his job is safe. I think Alvarez's job is safe. God, I think Chas McCormick could be on the block. I think Bregman, like they said earlier, I think Bregman's on there. Maybe Myers is on there. I don't know if anybody's going to want Myers. Jake Myers is kind of up and down. I don't know, man. This Astros team, it's geez Louise, man. You know, I really think a lot of it has to do with the manager, and a lot of it has to do with them not being. I think they should have gone. I felt like they should have been more aggressive in free agency. I felt like they should have gone after a Blake Snell. I felt like they should have gone after what's that dude over that went over to the Yankees? Not the Yankees. Somebody else. I'm just saying, I don't think the Astros were aggressive enough in free agency. I felt like because they don't look, their farm system is depleted. Ever since 2017, obviously we lost those draft picks. Our farm system has been quite depleted. So the only way you're going to get back into it is through free agency. And I felt like you said, pitching. We were not aggressive in free agency at all. And I'm thinking like, bro, you got Verlander over there on the sidelines. You got Luis Garcia that you won't see for another year through Tommy John. You know, those are two of your biggest pitchers right there. Just those two guys alone. And you're not bringing a Blake Snell in on a 1-year or a 2-year deal to suffice that? Come on, man. What are we doing? And sometimes you got to spend a little bit of money, bro. Sometimes you got to spend a little bit.
Right out of the gate.
Hey, no, it's all right. Hey, I'm thinking. Hey, listen. Frankie's been suffering for at least 10 years. Well, Frankie's been suffering since 2009. So it's okay to see me suffer a little bit. I'll take that suffrage. It's okay. It's okay. Because let me tell you something. 7 ALCSs is nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at. That's a very hard thing to accomplish. It is what it is.
Yeah, well, not when you're cheating.
See, you put what? See, Pax, that's the problem right there. That's the problem right there, Pax. Your hatred is so deep for the Stros that it keeps you from being unbiased.
I don't have a hatred of the Stros.
It's funny because that's the problem, not the we were cheating part.
Is this a sign of payroll problems?
No, I don't think this is payroll. This isn't payroll because these guys have had a 194 million payroll for a few years now, and they are middle of the pack. If you look at the payroll, they are middle of the pack, right? Maybe the top 15, right? So that's just Frankie Layton. That's like see when somebody hasn't seen the World Series since 2009. There's going to be a lot of hatred and very biased viewpoints that are going to come out, and that's okay. I expect that. You know, it's all good. Captain America had enemies too. It's okay.
What was it? Was it 1 bang for fastball, 2 bangs for curveball, 3 bangs for breaking ball? When they would go on the trash can.
Oh, is this the only time he's quiet? What's happening?
No, I'm just saying, like, bro. Seriously. That was played out like 4 years ago. You're relying on last year or 15 years ago humor to suffice today, and that doesn't work in the world of comedy. You gotta have some more relevant shit than that.
What kind of Common Core math was that?
Exactly. There it is. The gold that was spent on, the money that was spent on gold from all the gambling is in now his knee.
Hey, listen, I will tell you this, Chris. If that money's in my knees, why the hell couldn't they give me some better pain medication?
The trash can was the MVP.
I mean,
Robert. Hey, Robert. I know you're from Seattle and you're used to losing like Bo is over there. So nobody ever gives y'all shit because y'all are irrelevant. But I would expect a little bit more from you. Frankie says, sign still cave. hey, this is coming from a guy who's a Patriots fan. Who is big? The word gate, gate was invented in New England. Okay, they invented the word everything before the word gate. So I don't know what
I have to disagree with that. There was a thing called Watergate.
That's immediately.
I was born in 72. Richard Milhouse Nixon. Don't you blaspheme Richard Milhouse Nixon. I will come and find you.
You weren't alive then either, so.
No, I was. I was born in September of 72. Pags, maybe you should go repeat history. Go learn. Look at your president.
Oh, you're older than me.
Yeah. That's why he looks like fucking Gandalf. Come on, man.
You shall not pass.
Right. I always think it's funny because every time I go to the VA, that one young girl always asks me, "Hey, well, what year were you born?" I said, "I was born in 72, the year of Richard Milhouse Nixon." You probably don't know him because you weren't even born then. It's all good. God,
I was born in 72. So you're a little older than me.
Not much though, but you look better than I do. Pax, you're a very beautiful human being. You really are. You're a good-looking guy.
I appreciate that. So I am.
I mean, I was looking at this Bo though, because Bo could probably rip her shirt off right now and go do that. What's that Magic Mike stuff? Yeah,
definitely couldn't anymore.
I have seen you are a very ripped athlete. You could totally do it.
Today is not that day. Once upon a time, but not today.
Braid the beard.
Hey, I used to braid it, and then my wife got mad at me for braiding it, so then she wanted me to grow the full beard. But I am braiding my hair, believe it or not, Pags. I'm not doing like a mohawk like you do. What I'm doing is the old Viking thing. I'm growing my hair long, and I'm gonna braid. I braid it from the front all the way down to the back. Yeah.
You're gonna have cornrows.
It's pretty long. It's pretty long now.
You're gonna have cornrows.
Yeah, he braids it right in.
No, not cornrows. Not cornrows. It's almost like a what's that thing they call French braid? Like you French braid your hair all the way back and it goes into a ponytail. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't worry. When it gets long enough, I'll have it on the show. You'll see it on the show. It'll be interesting. It'll be cool.
Right into the back hair. It continues all the way down.
Don't get it lost in that sack.
Well, no, because I went to my barber one day, and the lady asked me, and this is the new person I was getting my haircut by. She said, "Well, what kind of haircut are you looking for?" I said, "Well, I have a receding hairline, and I'm tired, but I don't want to be bald, but I don't want to look like you know." So what can we do? She said, "Well, we can do a mohawk. If we do a mohawk, nobody's gonna know you have a receding hairline because this part was." I said, "You know what? That's a damn good ass idea." So that's what I did. So I did that just to avoid the illusion that I have a receding hairline. That's how that all happened. But Pags didn't do that. Pags actually has a full head of hair. He just chooses to do that.
My hair grows like weeds. It does. It grows like weeds.
Hey, me and Bo are the only hair talented people up here.
Except on my face. Like, I can't grow a beard to save my life. You know, I grew the goatee. The goatee was going for a minute. Yeah, while the Flyers were in the playoffs, had the Flyers still been in the playoffs, I'd still have the goatee.
You know what they said the problem with that is, though? For people who have a challenging and growing facial hair, it's because they have too much estrogen in their body, and it outrules the testosterone. If you want me to mail you some testosterone, though, I'll gladly hook you up.
I don't need testosterone. I just signed a deal with Sheila Jeet.
Oh, man.
The stuff that you get here is nowhere else. Like nowhere else.
It comes back and it gets weird.
Right away. Didn't even take a moment off.
Right?
Hey, I do want to go back to sports for once. I want to get you guys' opinion. Now, Pat, you're Philly, Mariners, I already know where my team's head. I think everybody kind of knows where my team's head. But I want to kind of focus on you two guys. Where do you and again, this is just an early prediction. This is not like finite. I just want to get you guys' early predictions so that when we get to mid-season and end of season, we can kind of go back and look at this. Bo, where do you see your Mariners? Do you see them making the playoffs at this point? Do you think that they'll be in the playoffs when it comes time?
No, I mean, honestly, they're playing about where my preseason prediction was, where I think they will be a 78-win team and just miss the wild card.
Okay. And Pags, where do you see the Phillies at finishing this season? And obviously, I think the Phillies, in my opinion, are probably going to. Well, they'll make the playoffs. But how far do you see them going into the playoffs?
I have them winning the very last game of the season. I'm not talking the regular season either. I'm talking the very last game of the MLB season is a win.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later will be a parade.
Yeah, I don't know if they're a World Series team, but
I do think that they're a World Series team. I think that I interestingly enough, I think that they only wind up in second place for to the Braves again. I think that the Braves win. I got the Phillies winning 101 games, and the Braves winning 103 or 104 games, and then ultimately we beat everybody and we go to the World Series. And I had the World Series win against, who did I put it? Where are we at? I got us against the Orioles.
Oh,
okay.
Which are not playing very well right now, but
let me ask you guys this, because there's a lot of people. Obviously, you've seen how hot kind of the Yankees started off the season, how they've been playing, how Juan Soto.
Hold on just a sec.
Yeah.
Rob, we make the wild card and then out. So does that mean they lose in the wild card?
Bo is a hater.
I mean,
you turn people against people right there. No,
I'm realistic, but I'm not sure what the middle part of that means.
Yeah, he's like that. You make the wild card and out, that you guys aren't going to get past the wild card, and that you're going to win 2 more games than Philly. You are. Listen. Gold flakes on the pizza. I want gold flakes on my pizza.
That seems like dyslexic sentence writing.
Steven, you know nothing about baseball. Nothing about baseball. There's no chance Texas even gets out of the divisional round.
I'm gonna disagree with that. I think Texas does get out of the divisional round. I don't think they win the World Series, but I do think they get out of the damn divisional round. But with the Yankees, though, how far do you see the Yankees going this season? I know we're almost out of here, but how far do y'all see the Yankees going this season?
I feel like they can be a divisional round exit.
Actually, I got the Yankees beating the Rangers in the divisional round. Right now, the way it all sets, that Texas would wind up having to play the Yankees because they're going to. Texas would be the wild card division winner, and ultimately they're going to wind up having to play the Yankees, and they think the Yankees knock them out.
Okay. Wow. And I will tell you, Pat, that's a powerful statement. Given what Texas did last year and their pitching, and I still think the weakness of the Yankees is their pitching. That's powerful, man.
It might be. I mean, obviously it's a long season, so we.
Oh, it is. No, it is. But
yeah, I mean, we're 20 games in. We got plenty of time.
Right.
I'm already looking at next year. I'm an Astros guy. I'm looking at next year.
I mean, I feel like that's probably throwing in the towel a little bit early.
I mean, you know what? You say that, but you don't look, Bo. Look, you know how when you know your team and you know your team. I know this, and right now I don't. I have that gut feeling that, and I talk to a lot of my friends who go to they got every season ticket holder to the Astros there is, and even they say the same thing. This just. You know, it just doesn't feel like it's your year. This just does not feel like it's our year, and I don't know what's going to happen after this, but.
Yep.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, no, unless you're a White Sox fan, I feel like you can pretty much throw it in there, but everybody else still has some life left in them. That being said, after the hour.
Yes. Yeah, we started a minute late today because I had a meeting, so I know it's 2:00. But thank you, everybody, for hanging with us today. You will see us again tomorrow. Actually, you'll see Bo tomorrow. I will be calling in from the road as I am driving to Detroit and the NFL draft. So, and Jay will show up here whenever he decides to show up.
No, I'll be here second half.
There we go. All right, perfect. But everybody, thank you very much for hanging with us. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.